Hey all, Andrew here. Welcome to the Onion Buns. So today I'm going to step away from the main election topics. I want to talk on religion. Now, I never talk on religion. So as I've always said, when I made this channel, one of my primary goals or standards, I guess, I put upon myself is to be completely transparent. And if I have a bias, I'm going to announce the bias so everybody knows what it is. I'm not the CBC, I'm not CTV, Global, Globe and Mail, Maclean's, Toronto Red Star. If I have a bias, I'm going to tell you what the bias is. I'm not going to try to manipulate you into thinking that I have some other agenda at play. So what my bias with religion is I will go to the mat defending somebody's right to religion. I don't care if it's Christianity, Catholic, Muslim, Jewish, Buddha, Tao I Ching. It doesn't matter. If you find peace or happiness out of your religion, I will go to the mat defending your right to that religion. However, that means you have to do your part as well. No pushing your religion on other people, period. That's a complete no-go for me. You go to your temple, your church, your mosque, your place of worship, and you worship around those that share your religion. And then when you leave there, you leave your religion there. You get into your home, great, you have your religion. You leave your home, you leave your religion there. In the outside world, your religion has no place in it, literally. So that is how I feel about religion. I do not follow organized religion. As a child, I went to Sunday school, I read the Bible, I learned the Bible. I probably know the Bible better than a lot of people that claim to be religious nowadays, if we're being honest here. But I do not support organized religion at all. I support the benefits that a person can get from their religion, like the Bible. The Bible has a lot of good stuff in it, and it's got a lot of horrible stuff in it. But if you focus on the good, there's a lot of good messages in the Bible. And though I've never read the Quran, from what I've heard, it's the same thing for the Quran. There's a lot of good, peaceful messages in it, and then there's a lot of really ugly shit in it. And the peaceful, non-radical believers, they focus on the good and they push all the crap aside. The radicals, they focus on the crap. They push all the good aside. You know, it's just like politics, really. You got, in the Canadian election, you got Poilievre and the Conservatives that are talking a very positive, uplifting, good message. And then you got the Liberals and Carney, and all they do is attack, slander, insult, belittle, and lie. So you got your non-radicals, they're all going towards the Conservatives this election, and then you got your radicals, and they're in the NDP and the Liberal bunkers all the way. You know, so religion, politics are much the same way in that regard. What I've been noticing though is the radicals are getting more and more radical. I'm going to show you a video of two people leaving their church. They're harming nobody, and I'm not going to play them sound because I refuse to give the idiot that made this video any airwaves. Like, his message does not get out on my videos, plain and simple. I'm muting them. So you're just going to see the video. You're not going to hear the sound because, again, I refuse to give that type of hate and prejudice the chance to vocalize and get spread. Just not happen. So anyway, I'm going to play that video, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more, and I'm going to show you a protest that happened in downtown Toronto the other day that was just disgusting. So, but this is the problem with religion, is the radicals are taking over religion, and that's just not acceptable. So anyway, here we go. So as you can see, these are the two leaving Jewish temple. These are two Jewish people. These are Hamas supporters. I know they like to call themselves Palestine. They are Hamas supporters. Make no mistake about it. Hamas is the radical of the Palestine people, and these protesters are all Hamas supporters. So anyway, like I said, I've muted this because I'm not going to give them airwaves. They are being heckled. They are being insulted. And this is how bad it's getting, is take a look over here as the video goes. The Jewish temple has to have all these police all lined way back over here. You can see the lights, all because of these idiots. What a waste of manpower. I'm sorry, load these guys up and arrest them. Simple as that. So you can see The one guy even just waved. You know, they're not buying into the hate. But these idiots here, who are all cowards because they keep hiding their face, first off, if they're so proud of their religion and their beliefs, take the fucking head covers off and show us your face. Be recognized. No, they won't do that. So here we have, City of Ottawa became the physical manifestation of psychological state of depression. They had a bunch of, they're blaming it on drug addicts and homeless. But really, what happened is they've had the same Hamas protesters. They've been all over Ontario this past week. And they're making a mess of everything. They're making the country and the cities look like crap. So again, this has been going on all over Ontario, and to a lesser extent the rest of the country. It seems to be mostly in Ontario right now. But here we got a video, and I'm going to play the sound, because even though the message is disgusting, this Hamas, and she actually admits she's a Hamas supporter, which makes no sense to me because first off, her face isn't covered, so she would be stoned to death. But yeah, the Western society supporters of Hamas don't seem to comprehend. It's just like the gays that support Hamas. It's, you guys realize they would kill you for being gay, right? Like there's no Hamas for gay people or Palestine for gay people. You would be dead if you were over there in Gaza for being gay, you know. But anyway, this is the intolerance I'm talking about, and this is becoming very widespread. And I'm targeting Hamas because I really do hate this terrorist organization. But you can see it across a lot of religions.
Our resistance in Gaza, they have called us to actually stand up and speak up and have a night of rage.
A night of rage. He is calling for a riot. That is what he's calling. Destruction, violence, non-peaceful protest. He's calling for a riot openly. Like last I looked, that was actually illegal in Canada, but our Liberal government will not arrest these idiots. They'll arrest truckers for honking their horns, but they won't arrest these idiots.
For what is happening in Gaza today.
Okay, and here we go. This was that same protest that I just showed you where the guy was calling for a night of rage. In other words, violence. Well, here's one of his peaceful pro-Hamas protesters burning the Israeli flag, which is illegal in Canada, on a wooden structure. He's burning it and putting it on a wooden structure. So basically, there is a chance that he could have burnt down that entire building. Yeah, with all that lighter fluid he's spraying all over on the wood planks, they could easily catch fire and boom. Where are the police? Well, the police have been told to leave them alone because liberals like this stuff. But this is all religious extremist intolerance. And that's what this video is about. These people, they're going to extremes, radical, violent, intolerant extremes. Yeah, I don't know when Canada started accepting this shit. I really don't. I do know I've noticed it in other religions. Like I have a friend, she identifies as a Christian, and I've had to tell her, oh God, I'm going to guess probably upwards of 50 times now, to stop giving God credit when I do something good. Like I'll hold a door open for somebody, I'll help somebody, you know, it's just little acts of kindness. And she will try to give it all credit to God. And I'm like, no, that's your crutch. I'm not religious. When I do a good deed, it's about me doing a good deed, helping somebody else. It has nothing to do with your religion. It has nothing to do with organized religion. Stop trying to make it about that. And it got so bad at a point I actually had to start hanging up on her when she'd call me when she'd do that shit. Because your religion is your religion. And I support you practicing your religion 1000%. If you find comfort, peace, harmony out of it, awesome. I am happy for you, but leave me out of it. Seriously, leave me out of it. It's, you know, it's like the Jehovah's Witnesses coming to my door. You know, for a lot of years, I sat there saying, no thanks, no thanks. But I got so pissed off them that I went out and I bought 2 books. And this was back in the 90s. I bought the Necronomicon and the Satanic Bible. And they'd come to my door and they'd be like, oh, we want you to read this literature and this. I'm like, awesome. I'll take your literature. And I'd pull these books. If you'll read my my literature and they'd get these horrid looks on their face and run off because they weren't listening. I tried being nice. I tried saying, no, thank you, I'm not interested. They weren't listening and they were pushing their religion on me. No, you take your religion, you go to your church, your synagogue, your mosque, your temple, whatever your religion calls your place of worship, and you worship. And in your own home, you worship, and that's your home. Those are your rules. But as soon as you're out of that place of worship or out of your home, don't talk about it. The rest of the world doesn't want to hear about it. Seriously, nobody wants to hear about it. If they want to hear about it, they will be with you in your place of worship. It is not your job to make me religious. All you're doing is making me angry. So, but yeah, it's, I find the religious nowadays is very intolerant, very hateful, everything I stood up for in religion seems to have been pushed to the backside now. And now it's all about mind control almost. It's like, you must think like us, and no matter how many times you tell them to stop, they don't stop. And I find that really offensive, to be honest. I'm not an easily offended person. I got a very thick skin, but that's one of the things I find truly offensive. It's like, you do you, but do you in the appropriate places. It's like I keep telling this joke, but a vegan walks into a steakhouse and puts actually, no, I'm going to change the analogy. True story here from when I was a waiter. This is back in the 1980s. So restaurants, they had usually a quarter of the restaurant was non-smoking and then 3/4 were smoking back then. And I was working at a very busy restaurant and we had probably about a 50-person lineup outside the door. So this woman and her husband get to the front of the line and the hostess asks, do you want smoking or non-smoking? And she says, non-smoking. And the hostess says, well, it's going to probably be a 30 to 45 minute wait for a non-smoking table to open up, but we do have a smoking table that just opened up if you don't mind sitting in the smoking section. And the woman huffed and, fine, we'll take it. So her and her husband went and it came into my section that I was serving. And I watched this with my own eyes. And she sat down, she reached into her purse, she pulled out a table talker, put it on her table, it said, thank you for not smoking, and then proceeded to start bitching out everybody around her, all the tables around her, for smoking, claiming this was now a non-smoking section and they were not allowed to smoke. Well, we kicked her out of the restaurant. But it's that same mindset. It's like, here's my beliefs and I'm going to project them onto everybody else. No, she could have sat and waited for a non-smoking table. She could have gone to a different restaurant. Eventually, she ended up having to go to a different restaurant because we booted her out. But quit pushing your beliefs on other people. Hey, just stop. Other people are allowed to have their own beliefs as long as they're not hurting anyone. And that's where I take offense with the Hamas supporters, is they are preaching to hurt people, to do damage, to create anarchy. And that's not cool. That's just not cool. So anyway, that's been really on my mind lately. And I wanted to get that off my chest. It's like, I support your right to religion, any religion, as long as it's peaceful and it doesn't hurt anyone and you find joy and happiness out of it. But a part of me thinks if you are truly finding joy and happiness out of it, you don't need to push it on anyone else. You let them be them. If they want to see your religion, experience your religion, learn your religion, they will come to you. You do not need to go to them. You do not need to preach at them. You do not need to try to install your values on them. Let them be them. And that seems to be the big issue with modern day religion, is they just can't. They can't stop themselves. They can't help themselves. As I said, a friend of mine constantly trying to give credit to God when I do something good, to the point where I had to start hanging up on her when she'd do it because telling her to stop wasn't working. So maybe hanging up would. Sadly, it didn't. It didn't. She just, when I would pick up again after a couple weeks, she'd just start into it again. It's like she couldn't help herself. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. It seems so simplistic to me. Let people be people as long as they're not harming people. It's like with the gays. I don't care if somebody's gay. I really don't. If you're an adult, so 18 or older, and that is what you want out of your life, all the power to you. Find a partner that agrees with you, another adult, and you live your life happy, joyous, no harm, no foul. But the minute you start pushing it on kids, or trying to push it on other people or call down other people for not following your beliefs, then I have a problem. I have a real problem with that. Just you do you. You let them be them. It's really that simple. Anyway, if you like this video, leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. I'm trying to grow my channel, and a like, a subscribe, and a share does me wonders, and I do appreciate it, and I thank you very much. If you didn't like this video, leave a dislike. always feel free to leave a comment. Don't worry, I don't swing my cane too strongly anymore if I dislike your comment. And as always, pew, 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 and shit. Thanks for watching. Bye.